Hey, Shalom, Lord Christ, Lord Christ. If I could, if y'all can like and share the class, let everybody know we live. Sister Shakai, did you get a notification on your Facebook that the class was live? Because I didn't get no notification on Facebook. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that. I don't know if it's something where Facebook stopped sharing it or what the situation is. You got the notification? Okay, Shakai got the notification, but none of us did. Um, I don't know what's going on. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get it started. Shalom, Israel. You live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Priest and Captain Soccer War holding man the class live from Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have classes here in Memphis from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. The address to the Memphis school is 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. Since 1969, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2022, there is nothing more important than for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is according to the Bible. Um, Understanding your purpose is something that everyone in life comes uh, I don't know what can I'm trying to say. It's not an experience, but everybody in life at some point ponders, why am I here? What is the purpose of all of this? And for a lot of people, they never really find the answer to that question. We're told, of course, by our oppressor or by the rulers in this society that the reason why we're here is to live up to the American dream, right? There's been a blueprint for what life is that's been given to us by the people who run this place, and that blueprint does not at all align with the purpose that God has made for all of us. Um, and there are many people out there who don't believe in a God. They don't believe in the Most High. They don't believe in the Creator. So when they begin to ponder the whys of life, or the what reason am I here, the Most High isn't something that even comes into their mind, right? The title of tonight's class is The Days of Our Lives. And what I want to do with this class was just really go into the Bible and show everybody how the things that we are facing in this time now that we're living in, um, while they may seem unique and they may seem modern, a lot of the problems that we have today are problems that are very um, routine to the human experience on Earth. You know what I'm saying? The things that we go through on a day-to-day basis, the struggles, the strife, the um, the wanting for more, the feeling like we deserve better out of life, and there's something more for us to have, and we're not living up to our purpose, or we're not doing enough, or we could be better. You know, the pain that comes from being in oppression, and the difficulty of navigating your way through life. You know. Always feeling like there's another grind or another hustle that you gotta put down in order to get what you want. All of these things that we are experiencing in this time, people have always experienced those things. And so I think understanding that the life we're living today is no different than life has been lived by anybody who's ever lived on the earth can really allow, it really can help brothers and sisters to put things in perspective, and whatever your particular struggles or difficulties in life may be, understanding that these are all routine to life on earth could make it a little bit easier to bear. All right, but let's go ahead and get into it. Of course, anybody got any questions, all I gotta do is type them in, and we can address those. But we're gonna go ahead and get into it right now. First scripture I want to go to is just get Psalm chapter 14 verse 1. All right, Psalm chapter 14 verse 1. With me. All right, Psalm chapter 14 verse 1 reads, "The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt, they have done abominable works, and there is none that does good. The Most High looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek God. They are all gone aside, they are altogether become filthy. There is none that does good, no, not one." Everybody understand? All right. Only the fool says in his heart that there is no God. Only the fool believes that everything that we experience and go through in life is just happenstance, and there's no rhyme or reason, and there's no higher purpose or no higher power. That is something that is foolish. Everybody understands? And the Bible says that the fool believes in his heart that there is no God. Now, what can we take from the Bible saying that? We can take from the Bible saying that people living life and believing that there is no God is not something that's unique to 2022. People who believe that there's no consequences for their actions and they can live any way that they want and they can do anything that they want, and there's no real no one to really hold them accountable. That's not something that's unique to the time that we're living in now. I hear a lot of talk all the time about modern men and modern women, and there's all, especially particularly speaking about, the difficulties in maintaining relationships and the difficulties between black men and black women being in relationships and staying together. There's a lot of talk about modern men and modern women, and all of it is really nonsense because men and women have not changed since there's been men and women on the earth. You can open up the Bible and, well, that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to open up the Bible. We're going to read about whorish women in the Bible. We're going to read about careless men in the Bible, lazy men in the Bible. All the things that we struggle and deal with in society today, they've always been around. They've always been right here for us to deal with and for us to see and for us to address. And we know that because it's spelled out here in the Bible. All right? So let's drop that. The fool says in his heart that there is no God. Everybody understands. Let's get Romans chapter 5, verse 4. All right. Romans chapter 5, verse 4. Let's understand the nature of the Bible, man. The Bible, again, is not a religious book. The Bible is the cultural and historical record of one nation of people and their dealings with God. And with that record, we get a lot of accounts of the lives and the histories and the testimonies of these people who lived their lives and who had dealings with God. All right. And the Bible is written for us to be able to gain from those experiences and from those testimonies to be able to apply it to the lives that we're living now. All right. So let me go ahead. Romans chapter 15, verse 4. Verse 4. Right? Yeah, 15 and 4. Says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope." Everybody understands. That is why the things that we read in this Bible were written. They were written aforetime, meaning they were written long ago, so that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. You understand? If you're living, a lot of us have lived rough lives, man. It's been hard for us. Grew up in a household with parents who had their struggles and their difficulties in life. A lot of us grew up in a struggle, grew up poor, grew up around addiction, grew up around, when neglected, were abused. We lived rough lives, had difficulty adapting. But guess what happens when you come into the truth and you begin to understand the Bible and you begin to read the Bible? Through patience, you can be comforted knowing that, damn, man, I mean, these things that I went through, God already talked about them. These things that I experienced in my childhood, you mean God gave warnings against about people suffering those things if they didn't do what he said to do? You mean my whole life I thought that I was alone and I thought that this was just we lived in a cruel world, and I wondered why all these things happened, and I could pick up the Bible that was written thousands of years ago and I can learn, oh man, these things happen because people weren't doing what God said to do. Well, now that I'm reading these stories about these people and about their experiences and about what they went through, now the instructions that I'm receiving is to obey God, to stop doing the things that I've done that have caused me harm, that have caused me to suffer in the past. So now I can be better. I can do better. I can be more like what God called me to be. That's what the Bible is here for. So the Bible is not a book that was written for the past. The Bible is not a book that is, for a time that we can't recognize, because everything that we are dealing with in life today, the Bible talks about it. All right. Let's go ahead and get Ecclesiastes chapter 1. All right. All right, let's get Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9 says, the thing that has been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. You understand? We can see here that there is no new thing under the sun. There is nothing that's being done today that hasn't been done in the past. So all the things that we're experiencing and that we're going through in 2022, people have always experienced and gone through these things in life. You understand? And so while we might feel like the problems that we're facing today are modern problems and they're new age problems, the reality is they've always been things that people encountered and had to deal with and had to overcome. So don't think of your struggles or your difficulties in life. Don't think that they're isolated. Don't think you're the only person that's dealing with this stuff. No, the things you're dealing with, man, depression has been around since man has been on the earth. Poverty has been around since man has been on the earth. You understand? A woman being a significant other. I ain't just gonna put it on women because men is hoes too. You know what I'm saying? A significant other being disloyal and untrustworthy and turning their back on you and taking advantage of you and abusing you and abandoning you. That ain't something that's new. These things have been on the earth. You understand? So in these days that we're living in, it's important for us to recognize that the things that you're going to struggle with, they are things that people have always struggled with on the earth. And it's not just enough to know that people have always struggled with them. The solutions, the answers to fixing it or to avoiding those problems and those pitfalls lies right here in the scriptures. The knowledge that the Most High has given us is the answer to all of our problems. It is the solution to all the things that we face in life that we don't know how to overcome or know how to deal with. That's why the Bible is and always will be, you understand, the source of our patience and our hope. It is the place where we go to for all the answers. That's why you read in the Bible, the law was something that was to be spoken before all the children of Israel. It's a priest's job to minister to the people, to judge them for right and wrong, to teach them what they were supposed to do, to help them navigate all the difficulties that a man encounters in life. And without that wisdom and that understanding, without those priests, without someone showing you this is what God said, this is how you're supposed to deal with this situation, then a lot of times we lost in life. We just trying to figure it out on our own. And that's cool. You want to figure it out on your own? No sweat. I'm going to trust men that are better than me. I'm going to trust a power that I know has the answers if I don't. And that's what the Bible is here for. All right. Let me drop that. Let's get man, hold up. Bear with me. Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. And again, the topic of tonight's class is the days of our lives. Speaking about how the things that we encountering in 2022 are no different than things that man has encountered throughout all time on the earth. There's nothing that we experience or we go through in today's society that's any different than any other society that man has been in on the earth. And it's important to understand that the things that we struggle with and the things that we fight against, men have fought against them and overcome them before. And the Bible is how we can learn from those men and be able to apply what they've been through so that we could overcome. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. It says, there is no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. Everybody understands? I'm going to read it again. There is no temptation taking you, but such as is common to man. So what are you struggling with? What are you dealing with? You depressed? You sad? You broke? Your significant other left you? Your relationship with your children is estranged, with your mother and your father is estranged. You grew up in an abusive household where you were neglected and didn't develop properly emotionally. You grew up in a household where they were abusing drugs and abusing alcohol, and now you have an addiction problem. Guess what? You're going to have to fight that addiction. You're going to have to overcome that trauma that you've been through. You're going to have to heal from that neglect that you experienced as a child. Why? Because the things that you're suffering with is not strange. It's not unusual. You are not unique in your experience. And because of that, the Most High has made a way for you to escape that temptation. He's made a way. If you're faithful, if you trust in him, then guess what? You can heal from your trauma, man. A lot of us come from families where it's drug addiction and alcohol abuse. That don't mean you got to be an alcoholic. That doesn't mean you have to be a drug addict. You can be better than the things that you've come from. But you got to be faithful and you got to trust in the Most High. And what does that mean? Being faithful and trusting in the Most High are not thoughts in your mind. It's not a feeling in your stomach like we taught in church. Being faithful is doing what the Most High said to do. You understand? Trusting the Most High is doing what he said to do. And if we do what the Most High said to do, then guess what? He will make a way for us to escape our temptations. The most important thing a brother or sister could do right now, if you're trying to escape temptation or you trying to overcome something that's holding you back in life, is pick up the phone and get some counsel. Call the ISUPK and say, man, I'm struggling. I'm going through this. I'm going through that. I don't know what my next step should be. You know, so many things I want to get done in life and so many things I want to accomplish, but I just don't know how to do it. I don't know which way is next. Every time I try to go to make a move, man, it seems like I take one step forward, but two steps back. If that's what you're experiencing in life, then pick up the phone and get some counsel. You having a tough time, you got a major decision you got to make in life, and you know that this thing it could break good for you and you'll be on top, or it could break bad and you could be at the bottom. Then don't take on the weight and the responsibility of that decision on yourself. Call and get some counsel. Because the Most High is going to always make a way for you to be able to escape temptation if you are faithful. Everybody understands. I'm going to, hold on. Let's see something. We could drop that. All right. We could drop that. We go ahead and get the book of Jeremiah. And we're going to go into some of these common temptations that we all have experienced and gone through, and show you how they were experienced by great men who came before us. All right. Let's get Jeremiah the first chapter. I believe it's the first chapter of Jeremiah. Might be the third chapter. All right. All right, here we go. It's Jeremiah chapter 1. And we're going to start at verse 4. All right, we're going to read on down. Jeremiah chapter 1, we're going to read from 4 down to 10. All right. All right. All right, it's Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 4. It says, Then the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. Everybody understands. So Jeremiah, the first thing that he heard when the Most High spoke to him is that the Most High said to him, I knew you before you were in your mother's belly. Meaning what? I knew you before you came here. I knew you before your parents even thought of you being born. I knew you before your mama got with your daddy and they laid down in that bed and they did that thing. You understand? Most High was letting Jeremiah know, man, I knew you. Even before you was in your mother's belly, and I made a purpose for you. I ordained for you to be a priest. Now, not everybody's purpose is to be a priest. Not everybody's been ordained to do the work of the Most High. But for Jeremiah, the Most High was letting him know, I chose you for something, man. I gave you a purpose. And every one of us should know that the Most High chose us for a purpose. We ain't just here for no reason. We wasn't put on this earth and given life, and the Most High allows for our heart to pump blood and our lungs to breathe in oxygen and turn it into energy for our blood cells and the whole science of life. You understand? All of the things that happens to make a person alive on the earth, it ain't just happenstance. It's not just random. You ain't just here, because of some random chain of events. No, you here because the Most High ordained for you to be here. And then you being here, he has a role for you to play. He has a purpose for you to fulfill. And I know at times you may question what your purpose is. You may not know, man, what am I here for? Well, for Jeremiah, the Most High gave him that answer. Let's keep reading. Verse 6. Then said I, Most High Power, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. Now, Jeremiah is being told that he was chosen to be a priest, that he was chosen to go out there and speak the Lord's word. But Jeremiah is saying, man, I'm just a child. I hear what you're saying, but I'm a kid, man. I can't go out there and speak. What is Jeremiah experiencing right here? This is self-doubt. This is fear. This is that anxiety that comes when you go to do something great and a lot of us get held back in life from doing the things that we absolutely should do because there's a feeling that, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. There's a fear of failure. I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know, man. It seemed like a good idea, but man, ain't nobody going to be down with that. Ain't nobody going to get my vision. Ain't nobody going to support me. Well, guess what? Jeremiah went through the same thing when the Lord called him to be a priest. Jeremiah had an excuse. We make excuses for not doing the things that we're supposed to do. We make excuses for not being great the way that the Most High created us to be great. And here we're seeing it with Jeremiah that he's questioning the Most High when the Most High is telling him, hey, man, I made you to be a priest. I called you into this work. Let's keep reading. Verse 7. But the Most High said unto me, say not, I am a child, for thou shalt go to all that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. Most High said, man, don't give me no excuses. Don't tell me what you are and what you not. You're going to do everything I told you to do. And that's a father, man. As a father, you have children. Your children they're going to doubt themselves. There's going to be things that you know they're capable of and know that they can do, and you're going to try to push them to do it, and they're going to be scared. And they're going to not want to do it. And they're going to say, whatever the case may be. You might want to have a child, you want them to play piano. Daddy, I can't read music. Don't worry. We'll work at it. We'll get you to read that music. You might have a child, you want to play some sports. You got a boy, you want to play some basketball, some football. And he say, Dad, man, them boys are big, man. They strong out there. You let them know, don't worry, son. You big and strong too. You just don't know it. You got to get out there and got to work at it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you might want your kid to be smart and be great in school and get straight A's and go to college so they can get a degree and be a doctor or a lawyer. And they're going to say, Dad, man, I got to graduate from high school and 4 years of college and 7 years of medical school. Man, that's a lot of school. And you're going to say, you know what? It is a lot of school, but you could do it. If you trust in the Most High, if you have faith, anything that you desire to do, that you desire to accomplish in this life, you can do it. Because it's the Most High that gives you the will to be able to do it. But along the way, there's going to be doubt. There's going to be anxiety. And it's not something that's unusual. You go read these books by these rich people, because I guess what? I done read them. I done read the testimony. I done all the get rich books that you could imagine. All of the be an entrepreneur and have your own business and be amazing at life. I done read those books. And all those books talk about, overcoming the anxiety and the fear of failure, overcoming the self-loathing and the self-doubt that you can't do the thing that you want to do. And guess what? It's hard work. Nobody's saying it's easy. You understand? We all have lived life. We know that life is not easy. And the Bible don't make no promises of life being easy. God never made no promises of life being easy. But just because life isn't easy don't mean you can't overcome. Just because life isn't easy don't mean you can't have the things that you deserve out of life. You just got to work for them. And guess what? Life is going to be hard work whether you trying or not. You think somebody who's a bum and who's homeless has an easy life? Hell no, their life is hard as hell. The life of a bum and a homeless person is almost as difficult as the life of a millionaire and somebody who work hard every day. They both putting in the same amount of work. It's just one is working and being poor, being homeless. Another one is working and staying rich, staying on top. But there is no easy way in life. Everybody understands. Keep reading. Jeremiah 1:8 now. Be not afraid of their faces, for I am with thee to deliver thee, saith the Most High. There goes the fear. You understand that the Lord knew Jeremiah had. Verse 9. Then the Most High put forth his hand and touched my mouth. And the Most High said unto me, behold, I have put my words in thy mouth. The Most High said, I'm going to give you the words to speak. A lot of times we want to go to do something. We just not sure about how to go to do it. Guess what? You don't have to always know how to do something. You can call and get counsel. You can reach out to the men of the Lord. You can find out, man, what path, find somebody who's done it before and ask them how did they do it. Ask them what steps did they take. But just being afraid of getting it done or just accepting that you don't know how to do something, that's not the way that you want to go in life. It's a very, very pitiful way to exist on the earth. Everybody understands. Verse 10. See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant. Everybody understands. And the Most High confirmed to Jeremiah that the purpose he chose him for was something great and amazing, something far and above anything he probably could have imagined. Well, you think Jeremiah isn't unique in that? All of us were chosen for a similar purpose. All of us were chosen and made by the Most High to do something that was great, to do something that was amazing. But we'll never be able to acknowledge it or realize it as long as we're afraid, as long as we're stuck in, not feeling like we're capable. You understand? I say all the time that the most. Well, let me get the scripture. I'm going to get the scripture. Hold on. Let me see. Hold up. Man, that's a good one. All right, let's get First John. Mm. Hold up. That's not it either. I'm looking for the scripture where it says, matter of fact, hold on, I think I got it. Be not afraid. Hold on. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Hold up. I can't find a scripture. The scripture I was looking for was one where um the Most High was saying, uh be not afraid. But it's one where I'm paraphrasing, where he says to um man, mind drawing a blank, y'all. Salakia. It's a scripture, man, where the Most High talked about overcoming and being not afraid. It's my mind drawing a blank right now. The point I was on was we all been chosen for a purpose, for a great purpose. The same way Jeremiah was chosen to do something amazing, we've all been chosen and have the ability to do amazing things. You know what I mean? We just have to um, trust in the Most High and know that if we're doing what He said to do, if we're obeying Him, then we will fulfill our purpose, and we will find our purpose, and we will fulfill it, and amazing things will be done through that. But again, the Bible says you got to be faithful. You got to trust in the Most High, and that being faithful and that trust is not something that you think or you believe. It's what you do. It's your actions. You know what I'm saying? Sister Waraka said, Joshua, that's a good one. Be Yeah, that's a good one, but that's not on the point of what I was looking Um, for what I was gonna bring out. But let's just get that. Let's just get that for now. This is actually is this is a good one, Sister Warwick out the water. I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. It's Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 6. All right, Deuteronomy 31 and 6. This is right in line with what I was just breaking down. Deuteronomy 31 and 6 says, "Be strong and of a good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them, for the Most High thy God, he it is that does go with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee." Everybody understands. Like that's the Most High's word to us. That's the Most High's word to all generations. And then again, why did the Most High have to encourage them? Why did He have to tell them to don't be afraid? Because fear is not something that's new. Fear is not something that's unique to the days that we're living in. People been fearing as long as people been alive, as long as the sun set and night and the moon rose in the sky at night and it was dark and it was cold and there was all manner of noises out there in the darkness. Guess what? People were afraid. And for the children of Israel, the Most High told them, don't be afraid. Be of good courage. You understand? For the Most High is with you everywhere you go, and He will not forsake you or fail you. But guess what? You can't forsake Him or fail Him either. If you stand with Him and do what He said to do, He'll never let you down. And that's the point that we have to acknowledge. That's the point that we got to come to. We got to come to the point of acknowledging and realizing that the failures that we experience in life, ultimately, they are it's our responsibility. You can't blame God for anything that you go through in life. You understand? Because for every perceived setback, the Most High provides a way for you to come back greater. For every perceived, letdown or loss, the Most High provides a way for you to, bounce back tenfold. So what loss have you ever really taken? What failure have you ever really experienced in life? There's a lot of things I've been through in life, and when I was in the world, I looked at it like, man, I failed. I didn't graduate the apprenticeship. I didn't make it to be a union certified electrician. I looked at it like I failed, man. I failed to finish this program. 6 months from graduating, the devil's railroaded me and did me dirty and took my career away from me. I'm a failure. Just to, a month later find the truth and change my life around and become priest and officer soccer war. Then to be here 12 years later, captain at 10,000 in a city that I never ever thought that I would ever see, Memphis, Tennessee, raising up the camp and teaching brothers and sisters and bringing the truth to this city. Things that you never imagined, all because I failed, all because I wasn't able to become an electrician. You give some time, take some time, man, and you get perspective in life and you realize, well, damn, that wasn't a failure at all. That was the Most High just opening the door for me to be able to become great, to do something great. I came and did something that I never imagined I would be able to do. Why? Because I trusted in the Most High. Because I had faith. And it's that faith and it's that trusting in Him that enables you to be able to accomplish the things that you never could accomplish on your own. And it's funny because, that story ain't even finished being written. I'm here now. Sometimes you can get down on things in life. And again, these things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, they're not new. Man has always dealt with doubt, with depression, with sadness, with feeling like you're not fulfilled in your purpose. But damn, man, I mean, as long as you got breath in your lungs and you got life inside of your story isn't finished being written yet. There's days I sit around and I'm like, oh man, I ain't got the money I'm supposed to have, and I ain't had the kids, and ain't did this and that. But goddamn, it can happen tomorrow. A nigga can get rich tomorrow. A nigga could, you never know what could happen. That's why you gotta remain faithful, and you gotta remain trusting in the Most High. Because having faith and trusting in Him is what's gonna make sure that He'll never forsake you or fail you. Everybody understands. All right. Let's drop that. Let me get let me get let's just get the scriptures about doubters, all right? Scriptures about doubters. I'm trying to think of some of these examples I got. Hold on. Let's drop that. Let me get here we go. We'll get Job. Let's get the book of Job. Book of Job, and we're gonna go Job chapter 1, and we're gonna go hold up. Hold on. Let's get Job chapter 2. We'll just get the whole thing. Job 2 and 1. All right. Job chapter 2, verse 1. We're going to read on down to verse 9, all right? Now, as we read Job, as we read this, what we're going to get out here in Job chapter 2, I want y'all to remember what we just read in 1 Corinthians 10 and 13. Because what we read in Corinthians 10 and 13 is that nothing that we face or we go through or we encounter in life is meant to destroy us. Any temptation that we suffer, anything that we go through it with the Most High promising to provide us a way out, promising to provide, an escape hatch. And listen, there's some people out there been through some horrible things, gone to prison and wrongfully accused of something. You know what I'm saying? Hell, unspeakable things have happened to people in their childhood and traumas they've experienced. You know what I mean? The rape and molestation, and again the neglect and the abuse, and the alcoholism, the drug addiction, the poverty, the neglect. We've been through unspeakable, unfathomable things. But the Bible here is saying that with whatever you've been through, the Most High has made a way out. If you give your life to Him and you obey Him and do what He said to do, there is nothing that you cannot bounce back from. There's nothing that you cannot overcome. You understand? But you have to have faith and you got to trust Him. And why is it important? Why, again, the Bible is the source of the solutions to all of our problems. A lot of us going through life trying to figure it out on our own. You understand? You might listen. Right now, the big thing they're telling everybody to do is go get therapy, right? Go get therapy. Go see a therapist. But goddamn, the therapist only been at their job for, 60 years. America done had, psychologists studying these different mental illnesses and disorders and whatever mental health problems people having. But the Bible been here for thousands of years. The Bible been addressing the mental health. The Bible been addressing, the depression and the anxiety and the bipolar disorder and the schizophrenia. There's, the poverty, how to get out of poverty and how to deal with, being oppressed. All the answers to these things are here. You understand? Now, for someone who doesn't understand them, that's why you got to get counsel. You got to call the ISUPK and say, this is a situation I'm dealing with, man. You know what? I was abused as a child, and, I was neglected, and I grew up in a household where we weren't really taught to love, and we weren't really taught to express our emotions and to show each other how we feel. I don't know how to really communicate when I'm going through things. I just know how to be violent, or I just know how to drink. Call and get some counsel. Call and seek the wisdom of the Most High from the men who has ordained to do this job. The same way the Lord ordained their Jeremiah. That every man has been ordained to understand the Most High, to understand these scriptures. So don't be so prideful as to think that you can discover it yourself. You could figure it out yourself. No, pick up the phone, call. I need some help. I need some counsel. I'm going through something, and I know I shouldn't be alone right now. That's what we are here for. Everybody understands. We're going to read about Job and what he went through in the time when he was being tested, when he was down on at the bottom. And we'll read about, the different temptations that came his way, all right? But while we're reading it, just know that through all of this, the Most High maintained that there was a way for him to get through it, all right? This is Job chapter 2, verse 1. Now, for time's sake, I'm not going to read the whole first chapter of Job, but the whole first chapter of Job is about Job's falling off. All right. Derek Patterson said this is what he's been looking for. How do I get information on joining ISUPK? All right, Derek, the channel you're watching the class on right now. Right now, you can send us a message and say, hey, I'm Derek Patterson. I'm from this city. I'm looking to get in contact with the ISUPK school, and someone will message you with the contact information for the school in that area. All right. So you got to message us right now on Facebook. My name is David. I tuned in the Memphis class. Tell us what city you're from, and tell us what school you said. What city you're from. Um, and you're interested in joining the school, and we're going to message you the contact information for the school that is near you. All right. All right, Derek, you in Memphis. So you tuned into Memphis. Like and subscribe to the channel right now. Send us a message, and I'll send you the school's information. All right. Right now on that same page, the address to the school is there. The phone number to the school is there. But if you're not able to get it, I'll text it to you. All right, so send a message right now, Derek, because after the class is over, I'm not gonna be able to see your message, see your chat. Message the school right now. Hey, I'm Derek. I'm interested in classes, and you'll get all the information for how to come to class and how to join the school. All right. Same thing with you, David Angel. You know what I'm saying? Y'all send y'all information in and get locked in. All right, Derek. Well, you go ahead and send that message. All right. So here we go. Now the whole first chapter of Job is about how Job fell off. Job was a man who was on top, had everything, and was rich and wealthy and living good. And then one day, great tragedy befell Job in all aspects and areas of his life. And now we're going to read in Job, the second chapter. The second chapter is going to start by giving us some perspective, giving us some backstory on Job's day of tragedy and trauma. All right, so that's where we at. This is Job chapter 2, verse 1. It says, again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Most High. And Satan came also among them to present himself before the Most High. And the Most High said unto Satan, from whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Most High and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Most High said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that fears the Most High, and eschews evil. And still he holds fast his integrity, although thou moved against him to destroy him without cause. Everybody understands? Hold on. So in Job, the second chapter, you understand, the Most High told Satan, but in Job, the first chapter, after it talked about how Job was a man, had everything, and was on top, the Bible then goes to say there came a day where the sons of God came before the Most High. And what this is talking about is a council in heaven. Heaven is not somewhere up in the sky. Heaven is another dimension, somewhere where the Most High and the angels dwell, where man and where we can't just go and touch it, go reach it. Everybody understands. But I don't want you to think that it's heaven in the sky like you're taught in Christianity, because that doesn't exist. The same way that hell under the ground in some deep, dark place where there's fire doesn't exist. Heaven and hell are conditions that we experience here on earth, but the heavens where the Most High dwells is a whole nother place of existence. But there they had a council, the same way we have councils here on the earth. When decisions need to be made, when we need to plead our cause, if there's a judgment or there's a case that needs to be heard, there's a council. And in the council, there are judges, and then there are people who come to bring their complaints, or come to present themselves and answer for things in the council. Everybody understands? So in the council in heaven, Satan came to report on what he's been doing. And Satan's job, his responsibility, Hashatan in Hebrew means adversary. Satan's responsibility is to test you, to try you, to be an adversary, be someone to cause you to compete. Compete for what? Compete to prove your righteousness to the Lord. If it wasn't for Satan tempting you and trying to get you to sin, how would the Most High know that you were loyal and down with him? How would the Most High know you were faithful and true if he didn't see you overcome temptation? Well, in Job's case, Satan said he couldn't find anybody that needed to be tempted. He couldn't find nobody that was good. The Most High suggested, Satan, how about you go try Job? Job fears me, and he'll never turn his back on me. And Satan said, just let me touch him. Let me have at him, and I bet you he'll fold. Well, after all the trauma and the tragedy that befell Job, he still didn't fold. He still didn't turn his back on the Lord, and that's what the Most High is saying to Satan here at the top of the second chapter. So let's keep reading. This is Job 2 and 4. And Satan answered the Most High and said, skin for skin, Yeah, all that a man has will he give his life, will he give for his life. But put forth thine hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. So Satan said, yeah, you let me touch him, you let me take all the things he had. See, but what you didn't let me do is touch his body. See, Job don't mind losing everything and losing all his kids and losing all of his wealth because he still got that body is healthy. He still got skin to skin, skin for skin. But let me touch his bones. Let me make him hurt on the inside. I took away all the material things, but let me make him hurt on the inside, and I bet you he'll fold. Let's read on verse 6. And the Most High said unto Satan, behold, he is in thine hand, but save his life, meaning do your worst, Satan, but you can't kill him. Now, when you read Job and you understand that the things Job experienced and Job endured, God gave the approval. Think about your life and think about the things that you've gone through and the things that you've suffered, and acknowledge and then understand that God gave the approval. Now, is God cruel and evil? Is God unjust that He would let Satan have horrible things happen to us? Or is the Most High's ways far above our ways, and Him understanding that putting us through pain and difficulty is what allows us to see just how powerful we are? You might think, why would God make Satan to be an adversary to us? Why would He make Satan to tempt us to sin? But you don't realize that without Satan tempting you, you would not know how far you could go trusting God. Imagine a world where there were only sunny days, never rain, never storm. How would people feel about sunny days? They would begin to hate the sun. They would begin to look at the sun as a nuisance, as a problematic. But it's only because of rainy days and cold of the winter, and because that we begin to appreciate the sun. We appreciate the heat and the warmth. That's life. Without Satan, we would not fear God. Without going through the horrible things you've been through, how could you appreciate being in the truth? If your life before the truth was amazing and wonderful, why would you want to serve the Most High and do what He said to do? All of these things go hand in hand, and they always have been that way. It's not any different in 2022 because we have technology and cell phones and the internet and video games and, weed and fentanyl and, whole, easy access to sex and whores and everything else, whatever you're into, whatever thing you into that make you believe that, man, life is different. It ain't different. It's all the same things that man has always struggled with. We are still struggling with them today. All right. And the answers to the problems we have today are the same as the answers to the problems that they had thousands of years ago. We're going to keep reading. Salakia. Job chapter 2, verse 7. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Most High, and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown. Satan was not playing. Satan ain't got no reservations about what he do to you. He gonna do something horrible to you, and sit and wait and see if you gonna still stand with the Most High. Verse 8, and he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. You understand? So Job got something to scratch his skin, and he went and sat down among the ashes. Everybody understand? What does it mean to sit among the ashes? Meaning to sit, well, no, literally the ashes of the houses and the properties he had that burned down. Job went and sat among those ashes. You understand? Sat among the ruin of all his material wealth that had been taken from him. Verse 9, then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. Now, understand this. All these things that happened to Job also happened to his wife, with the exception of what happened to his body. But Job lost everything that he had in one day, all of his children, all of his wealth. All of his material possessions, it was taken away from him in one day. Job did not fold. Then the next day, Job's body began to fail him. His health began to fail him. Job didn't fold. But Job's woman, it was too much for her. She couldn't bear it. She saw too much trauma, too much tragedy, too much horror happen for her to still have faith. And if it wasn't enough insult or injury for Job to lose all those things in one day, Job then went and got Job's wife. Satan then went and got Job's wife to speak these words to him. The one who he thought would be in his corner, the one who had his back, the one who he just knew, man, no matter what, this woman gonna be down with me, man. We're gonna be here through thick and thin. Anything ever happened to me, at least I know I got my baby with me. His baby. I don't know what y'all call y'all woman. Y'all got all kind of your bookie butt, your boo boo. You know what I'm saying? Whatever names y'all got for her. She came to Job and said, nigga, you still trusting in God. You still having faith. Why don't you just curse him and die already? Just give it up. There's no point in living anymore. Ooh-wee. You think you know depression? You think you think you know sadness? You think you know abandonment and being let down and being disappointed? You don't know nothing like what Job went through. Sister Shakaya said, would that be the same spirit that spoke to Eve? Which spirit? Would what be the same spirit that spoke to Eve? Yeah, let me know who you talking about, Shakaya. But let me read Job's response to his woman. Verse 10, but he said unto her, thou speaks as one of the foolish women speak. What, shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. Job understood, listen, woman, you got the good and the bad. And right now, I'm in the bad. I'm dealing with all the bad. But I'm not going to curse God and die. What the hell wrong with you, woman? Don't you know we was just up? Don't you know we just had everything? Don't you know we was just winning? So what, because I'm losing now, I'm going to give up? I'm going to turn my back on the Most High? Nah, woman, you speak as one of the foolish women speak. You foolish for saying what you just said out your mouth. You should watch your goddamn mouth talking about the Most High that way. And guess what? And none of what Job said did he sin. But don't be surprised when you're in the midst of a storm. Satan could use anybody to try and come against you. He could use anybody to try and cause you to sin. And understand that in the midst of going through something like that, you can always remember that there was a brother named Job who went through something that was far worse. And when Job went through it, as Job was going through it, Job maintained his integrity. Job never turned his back on the Lord. You understand? Job proved to Satan that he was everything that God said that he was. All right. Let me see. Sister Shakai said the devil that beguiled Eve, does he have the same spirit as Satan? Okay. When you say the same spirit, that can make it kind of confusing, right? The spirit that spoke to Eve was doing the same job that Satan did. You understand? And the scripture says that the Most High has angels that serve him for good, and there are evil spirits that he uses to tempt. You understand? So the spirit that causes you to be tempted comes from Satan, under the orders of Satan. If it ain't Satan himself, it's a spirit that works for Satan. But its responsibility is to test you. Its job is to try and convince you to sin. You understand? That is the same spirit. Yes, that's the same spirit that was in Eve. That spirit that spoke to, it's the spirit in the man that spoke to Eve to cause her to think about sinning against God is the same spirit that spoke to Job when it spoke that spoke to God about destroying Job. And it's also the same spirit that got into Job's wife to cause her to tell Job to curse God and die. That was a temptation. That was Satan trying to use someone close to Job to convince him to give up. And that can happen. You can have those people in your life today. People, what Job went through with that woman is and I understand this. That doesn't mean the woman was evil. That doesn't mean she was a disgusting whore the whole time they was together. That don't mean that he should have never been with her, should have never married her. She was foolish in that moment. She was overwhelmed by all the sadness and overwhelmed by losing everything and overwhelmed by suffering what she suffered. And so in her ignorance, in her foolishness, in her womanhood, she showed doubt and she showed fear and she had a lack of faith in the Lord. But guess what Job did? Job stood strong and said, "Woman, you speak like a foolish woman. Don't you? We supposed to accept good from God, but not accept the bad when it comes? I'm gonna deal with the bad, woman. What the hell wrong with you?" You understand? Eve was the same way. When Eve came to Adam, Adam should have said, "Woman, you speak as one of the foolish women speak. Don't you know that God said we ain't supposed to eat of that fruit and we ain't supposed to do this and that?" Adam wasn't that man though. Adam listened to Eve and was convinced by Eve. And because of it, Adam was destroyed. But the serpent, Satan is going to use whatever he has to use. If he got to use a serpent to talk to your woman to get you to sin, or if he got to come down and cause you to lose everything in order to get you to sin. Guess what? Satan going to use whatever he can. He's going to do whatever he knows how to do to get you to fold. So guess what you got to do? You got to be prepared to battle on all sides. You got to be prepared to fight from every angle. You understand? That's Job. Just in that one experience with Job, we can see that when you go through something difficult, when you're being in the midst of your temptation, Satan could use anything at his disposal to try and trip you up and cause you to sin. You understand? And now, the rest of the class, we could go through examples of these sinners. We can go to these different types of people. We can go through examples of the different types of spirits that were on the earth thousands of years ago still being here. I could read scriptures about whorish women. I could read scriptures about evil men. I could read scriptures about people who are lazy and I could go through a lot of those. But what I would rather do is go through the scriptures that can show you what you need in order to arm yourself against Satan. Arm yourself against the things that are trying to destroy you, that are trying to break you down. All right? That's what we're gonna do now. Let me go ahead and get hold up. All right, let's get Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10. Matter of fact, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11. It's Ephesians 6, 11 down to 17, all right? All right, Most High Christ. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11 down to 19, all right? Salaki, y'all, Salaki. All right, it's Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11. It says, put on, I'm going to read verse 10. Ephesians 6 and 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Most High and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. You understand? That devil is the deceiver. That devil is Satan. But that devil also is your oppressor, who is acting on the earth as Satan and what? Doing everything he can to convince you to sin. and promoting all things that are evil and go against the Lord to try and cause you to turn your back on the Most High. A lot of the problems that we've experienced in life, a lot of the ills that we grew up with is a result of being born and raised here in America and not knowing the truth, being given the culture of your oppressor, which is a culture of evildoers, which is a culture of going against God. And in order for you to combat that, you got to put on the whole armor of the Most High. Let's read about this armor. Verse 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Who is your battle with in life? Your fight with in life. Your fight isn't with another man. Your fight isn't with that woman who you disagree with. Your fight isn't with, somebody who you can see before you with your eyes. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That is what we battle against. We battle against spiritual wickedness. You understand? What is that spiritual wickedness? That spiritual wickedness is depression. That spiritual wickedness is bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. That spiritual wickedness is anxiety. It is fear. It is self-doubt. All those things are spiritual. And those are the things that you are fighting in life. Those are the things that are attacking you. Whereas most of us, the place where we are attacked the most is in our own thoughts. We're attacked by people's conversation. We are attacked by things that we may see. We are attacked by things that we may hear. We are attacked by what the news said or what we find in our significant other's phone, and he ain't called me in a day or two, or whatever the case may be. It's our mind is where the battleground is. Our mind is where the warfare is taking place. A lot of us don't suffer anything physically. Hey, I'm a certain age. I ain't had to throw a punch effectively. In the past 15 years, I maybe had to throw about 7 punches. Serious punches. The rest of that time, everything I've suffered, all the hurt and pain I've experienced has been in my mind. It's been based off of things that happened to me that weren't physical. That's what the Bible is talking about. It's preparing you for the battle. The battle is not with flesh and blood. You ain't got to be big and strong for this fight. You ain't got to be able to bench press 325 pounds or be able to run a 4.3 40-yard dash. You don't have to do all that for this fight. You understand? But for this fight, you've got to be sound in your mind, sound in your spirit. For this fight, you've got to be able to, you got to have discipline. You got to have focus. You understand? You got to have accountability. You got to have, you got to be able to not depend on yourself all the time. Sometimes to overcome this battle, you got to be able to pick up the phone and say, I need some counsel. And get some assistance in what it is you're going through. Verse 13. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. You understand? You're going to have to be able to withstand in the evil day. What is the evil day? The day that Satan comes to you, the same way he came to Job. The day when Satan deals with you, the same way he dealt with Job. You're going to need the whole armor of God to stand strong on that day. Verse 14, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. Now, this armor, if our warfare is not physical, why would the armor be physical? The armor is not physical. The armor is spiritual, just like the battle we're in. So your loins have to be girt about with truth. What does that mean? That thing that holds your midsection tight. Now, all of us, if you ever been somebody who worked out or been to the gym or been involved in any type of serious athletic activity, you know how important it is for you to be held together closely at the midsection. You brothers, you ever played basketball, football? Guess what? You play basketball, you tie them gym shorts real tight. You play football, you put them pads on, you tie that belt around your waist real tight. You go to do some kind of karate. Guess what? You got that little belt that you tie on real tight. If you go to be a boxer, you go to fight. You put that weight belt on. You go to lift weights. You put that back brace on real tight. That is what holds you together for serious, strenuous activity. That's when the Bible talks about girding your loins. That's what it's talking about. Secure that midsection. Tighten up in the middle of your body. What they call that? Your center of gravity. Well, guess what? You're gonna fight this warfare spiritually. You gotta tighten your belt with the truth. The truth got to be the thing that holds you together. You understand? And what is the truth? The truth is the thing that combats all the lies. The truth is the thing that'll have you to really see what the problem is rather than you trying to focus on a bunch of things that ain't got nothing to do with what you're dealing with. The truth is what will set you free. Whatever you are a prisoner to, the truth is what is going to free you from that. That's what you got to girt your loins with. And having on the breastplate of righteousness. How do you protect your chest? How do you keep your heart safe? You got to put on righteousness. How you live your life, the things that you do, the things you don't do, what you eat, who you have sex with, what holidays you celebrate. That has to be what you put on your chest. Verse 15, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Your boots got to be laced up with the preparation of the gospel of peace. What is the preparation of the gospel of peace? Knowing that there's a kingdom that is coming for us if we obey God. Peace is around the corner if we just do what the Lord said to do. You want peace in your life, then you need to obey God. You want things to go right in your life, then you got to do what he said to do. You tired of struggling and tired of suffering and tired of taking L's, then you need to get about being about the business of obeying God. If you don't know what it means to obey God, call and get some counsel. If you don't know there's things that you're doing that may be right or may be wrong. Maybe I am doing something wrong. Maybe I am suffering because God is not pleased with me. If you want the answer to that, you got to call and get some counsel. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Pick up the phone. Salaki, this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm dealing with. Help me out. And you'll be able to get the help that you need. Verse 16, above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. You understand? Above everything that you're going to put on, make sure you have the shield of faith. What is the shield of faith? You understand? It's your defense against everything in life has to be, no, I'm trusting in the Most High. I'm doing what he said to do. I know that he loves me because I love him, and I prove it by doing what he said to do. If you have faith, then you'll be able to defend any attack. Somebody at your job hating on you. Guess what? The Lord with me, so I don't even care. That the woman you love so much, she left you. She turned hoe on you. Guess what? F that hoe. The Lord is with me. The Lord just got rid of her. So the Lord got rid of her. So now I got more time to devote to the truth. You lose that job and now you unemployed. You collect them unemployment checks. It's okay. The Lord is with me. I'm going to find a job and give me some money because the Lord is with me. Or guess what? I'll put in a request at the school. But I'm going to be all right because I got this defense. I got this shield of faith. You got to put trusting in the Most High above everything. Because anything that you put above trusting in the Most High, that is what is going to ruin you. That is what is going to destroy you. You understand? That shield of faith is going to allow you to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Yeah. You're going through something bad, and the people who love you the most, the people who you think supposed to support you and have your back, they the ones telling you that's what you get. That's what you get. You're going to serving that. You ain't want to celebrate that Christmas no more. You want to go do this and do that. That's what you get. That's what happens when you go and do this and do that. And you turned your back on Jesus. Who knows what the hell people in the world are saying to you? But just like Job's wife came to him, people going to come to you in your life and going to say things to you and going to try to put you down. Guess what? If you got the shield of faith, I know the Lord with me. I don't care what they saying. What they talking about, they don't even mean nothing, man, because they going against the Most High. I know I'm doing what God said to do, so whatever I'm experiencing, guess what? It's just a short time, man. I just got to trust in the Lord. I got to depend on him. He going to make a way. Now, if you know you're not doing what God said to do, when them horrible things happen to you, you got to know that That's what happens when you don't do what he said to do. That's what happens when you don't obey him. That's what happens when you're not serious about serving him and obeying him. Because one thing for sure, two things for certain, the Most High is not going to be mocked. You understand? Ephesians 6 and 17. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word. Everybody understands the helmet of salvation. How you protect your neck? The helmet of salvation. What's always on your mind? What's constantly in your head? Being delivered. Knowing that salvation is coming, man. If I just endure to the end, I'm going to get a crown, man. I'm going to get a reward. That's what you got to put on your head. And that sword, that thing that you fight with, your offense, is the word of God. You know these scriptures, you know this Bible, then guess what? You could attack, you can conquer anything. You can overcome anything that's in your way if you understand this truth and understand these words. And again, that is what the Bible is about. That is what these classes are about. It's about arming you with the armor of God so that you can do what? So that you can resist the wiles of the devil and that you can overcome spiritual wickedness in high places. Everybody understands? Verse 18, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. Everybody understands? In addition to everything that you're putting on this armor, guess what you also have to do? You also have to be praying and asking the Most High to give you strength, asking the Most High to give you clarity, asking the Most High to help you get through what you're going through, asking the Most High to help you to trust counsel and to give you the ability to let go and not need to be in control and to let the counsel, you know what I'm saying, tell you that what they're telling you to do is the right thing and is what you need to do. Everybody understands? All of these things is what must come together in order for us to be able to stand before the Most High on a day of judgment, pure and clean and deserving of the deliverance and the salvation that he promised to us. But we will not be able to get through it unless we acknowledge and realize that the things that are up against us are the same things that have always been against us, man. 2022, I took you back in history and showed you what they were dealing with 400 years ago. You would realize that your life is no different than that of your ancestors. You pick this Bible up and you read it and you study it and you hear about what Israel suffered when we were in Egypt and what Israel suffered during the Babylonian captivity and what Israel suffered during the Greek captivity. You would realize the things that I'm dealing with is no different than what my ancestors dealt with. And if what we're dealing with today is no different than what our ancestors dealt with, then the solution is no different either. The scripture says, I'm going to get that in Philippians. Give Philippians 4 and 13. Let's get Philippians 4 and 13. This is the last scripture, all right? Philippians 4 and 13 says, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. You understand? I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Now, what things can we do? What things does Christ give us the strength to do? For time's sake, I'm going to give you the answer. He gives us the strength to overcome the things in our mind, to win this spiritual warfare. Christians use this scripture to say, I can get rich because I can do all things through Christ. Them pedophiles in the Catholic Church think that they molest and kill children, saying, I can do all things through Christ. It's whores out here who pray before they go hit the stripper pole, saying, I can do all things through Christ. That's not what the Bible talking about. The Bible says I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The Bible is talking about obeying God and enduring in righteousness and then living honorably and presenting yourself before the Most High to be clean and honorable and without blemish so that you could walk into the kingdom of heaven. You understand? Doing all things through Christ who strengthens me is talking about fighting this battle, this spiritual warfare against the things that are trying to overcome you. Sister Mariam said to conquer your old self. You right. Sister Shakaya said to stand fast in the truth. You right. Sister Shawabah said to keep my mind focused. Con. That is what Christ gives us the strength to do. Everybody understands? And so we just got to do it, y'all. Every day we got to fight. Every day you got to take little more steps closer towards perfection, towards righteousness, towards the Most High. Knowing that at any day, it could be the day. Knowing that any time, our number could be called. So don't think this is something that you could put off and do it tomorrow or do it next week. Start doing it now. You brothers and sisters that's just tuning in, it's your first time in class, welcome to the Israelite School of UPK under Commander General Yohanan here in Memphis, Tennessee. If you want to begin your transformation, begin to change your life and become what the Lord called you to be, like and subscribe. Tune into the classes every day. Tuesday through Friday, we have classes from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. You understand? The address to the school here in Memphis is 3000 Walnut Grove Road, Suite 215. You know what I'm saying? Contact the school. Send us a message, man, on the page here. Get you the school contact information. Get you the phone number, man. Y'all tap in with us. You got any counsel? Got any issues, any problems? You get in contact with us, man. All right. ISUPK since 1969 been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2022, there is nothing more important than for God's chosen people to find out the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is here on the earth. And with that, Shalom, Israel. I'll see y'all tomorrow.